Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Aggie and I'm not gonna lie, I did my hardest right to do some sort of vaguely amusing react to the cat stream from Chantal, but I just ended up getting really infuriated. I just sat here and I just was like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." And I just thought, you know what? And you know where it goes from being kind of just that feeling of being annoyed, but still having an element of like, how do I want to say, where you don't feel that deep dark pull inside you, where you know that this demon's energy's pulling at you. Do you get me? Like, and I just by the end of just a little bit of it, I felt a real horrible feeling in my chest. I was like, oh. And I just thought, "Do you know what? Fuck this. No, I'm not doing it. I'm really just not doing it." Because the general gist about the whole stream is that, in my opinion anyway, is that there's something going on outside of this cat business, and this is just a way for her to vent her frustration about whatever it is going on outside it, whether or not she's having a moment where she realizes that she's a fat piece of shit who can barely waddle her way across the street now, thanks to her own gluttony and her own laziness, or whether or not it's something with Salah or whatever that might be, bit from column A, bit from column B. But it just really just seemed that, she was needing to feel control over something, and she then decided to try and exert her control over a toy that she's previously had, i.e. Sam. And when she got her hand slapped, because the people, rightfully so, said, "Why are you asking 3 years later consistently about details about the cat?" Because she's not just asking simple things like, "Is he okay?" She's like, she still in this talks about how she feels like she has the right to him, and the right to what happens to him. "Tell me if you're moving him. Tell me where he is. Tell me if he's this, that you need to do this. If he's that, you need to do that." Sorry, that was my phone. Like, she's still trying to exert not only her control over Sam, but over how the owners that she's obviously given him to act. So, and this is what the owners have probably pushed back against, because the owners are probably like, "Oh, hang on a minute, why is your daughter, we did you a favor by taking the cat because she didn't want him. So why is your daughter trying to exert her control, wanting to know what's going on in our family life, and having judgments on where the cat is, where my daughter is she at college, is she back home?" Do you see what I mean? And I can completely understand that from the family's perspective, because they're just like, hang on a minute, it's Chantal reaching her fat fingers into somebody else's life to try and exert some type of control over them. And then in this case, she's had her fat fingers slapped, like I said earlier, and she's now reacting to that, plus whatever bullshit caused her to reach her fat fingers out to try and control another individual, well, another family. Because again, that the entitlement she has, that it's her business and that she needs to be reported to, and if you don't report everything that she's asking in a timely manner, then you deserve to be called a cunt and things like that on the internet. It's just absolutely gross. And it amazes me as well that she is so concerned with this pussy and the welfare of this pussy, when she is obviously not concerned about the welfare of her own fucking pussy, because God knows we've been having to hear about that kind of nonsense, not just like recently, but obviously in the past. Chantal, if you want to care about a pussy, care about the one that really needs attention, and you know which one that is, okay? Okay. And then there was another stream that I had a look at, that I think it was part of one of Barbecue Chillin's cut downs. And again, she was being so vile. Oh my God. When she was talking about like when she lost her shit on one of BB's, like a neighbor, an ex-neighbor of her and BB's. And she was basically going on about how this woman was obviously a complete slut because she had a certain type of man going in and out and all this stuff. This all coming from the woman, right? This all coming from the woman who has posted her vagina and her tits and all of this kind of stuff on OnlyFans and on the internet and everything like that. The woman that has come online telling stories about giving blowjobs to guys in cars, shagging guys on rocks, giving handies or whatever it is for cheeseburgers and stuff like that, letting men touch her boobs for cheeseburgers. The one who went on and on to us about kind of pizza dough. The woman that got throat gonorrhea and came on the internet and told us all about it. This woman was basically saying that her neighbour was obviously a slut and all this kind of stuff because she had men coming in and out of her apartment. And the fact that this woman called BB, she was running around, lol, do you know what I mean? The apartment, and BB had to try and calm her down because the woman, all she did was phone BB to ask him for something because apparently he'd helped her with a bike or something before. And she felt like she had the right to call this woman and immediately call her a slut and tell her that she knows the type of woman she is because she's seen these guys coming in and out of the house. And when this woman called her insecure, which is 100% accurate, she basically called her a load of really kind of awful names and then hung up on her. It's insane. Chantal, you wonder why there is such a massive community of people that hate you. And you wonder why you've got no friends, that nobody can stand you. You wonder why you're banned from Salah's home and Salah's family can't stand you. You're banned from Syria. You're banned from Kuwait. At what point do you look at it and realise and accept even slightly that you're the issue? It wasn't BB's neighbour. That BB's neighbour wasn't the issue. It was you and your insecurity and your judgment of other women and your fierce competitiveness and the fact that you know that you don't measure up against most women in any way, shape or form. That is the issue. And I could keep going with all the other stuff, but you know what I mean. So there was that stream as well, which I saw that left me feeling gross. And so I thought, right, okay, I'm going to come on now and I'm just going to quickly give my opinions on those ones because I'm not going to watch them together because yeah, you don't want to hear me be all miserable in that sense. So I thought, right, let's have a look at something a little bit more silly. I know there was another stream in between as well where she was scoffing udon noodles and talking about stuff that she knows nothing about. Big surprise there, you know, standard. If she's going to have an opinion on something, she doesn't take the time to actually look into it and maybe form an opinion that she can potentially have a positive discussion with people about. You know, no, not at all. She just listens to what bloke is in her ear at the time and then just speaks with maximum authority on stuff that she knows not even the tiniest bit about. So again, I skipped that stream because I don't want to fucking hear it. I do not want to hear this lump talk about that nonsense. So anyway, but she was eating udon noodles and had like 30 odd teriyaki flipping meatballs, 30 odd. And I don't think she was even chewing with half of them. It was just the ultimate sign, and especially during like these kind of spiritual times for her religion. I don't think that gluttony is something that they I think that one of the points of fasting is like to reflect. It's obviously, I believe, to get closer to the spiritual side of things. You have to forgive me, I don't know a huge amount about the reasons behind Ramadan. If you want to let me know, or if you're schooled on these things, be more than happy to read any comments you've got. But I'm assuming it's to do with being, you know, closer to your spirituality, and also things like, you know, having maybe an appreciation of food and stuff like that, of kind of yeah, something like that. So basically something where gluttony is not necessarily going to be a great look, and her kind of having 38 or whatever it turned out to be meatballs is just how she does not go and throw up. I will never know. And how she just doesn't think that that's fucked up is again insane. And then so actually there was two things that I did want to point out from that udon stream, right? So it's going to be this, if I can forward it to it. Sorry, I'm winging it today because, like I said, I did genuinely try to do just like a proper normal reaction, and I just could not do it. So I am chopping these bits up and going through it on the fly. So we'll be back to our usual format, hopefully next time. But this time, guys, I just couldn't bear it. It was just too much. It was too much. But one thing I noticed about kind of this stream, I'll put a picture up now actually, rather than me try to find it on the fly, was in the udon stream, just how scary her eyes looked. Like, they looked shark-like, just black. And I don't know if it's edibles, that she's just kind of high and that's a thing, you know, because I don't know, again, a huge amount about edibles, because obviously over here you can't do that kind of stuff legally. And also, for me, in my misspent youth, I did kind of dabble in certain things like that, and any of that nonsense just made me hungry and tired. And I'm hungry and tired 90% of the time that I am awake. So I don't need to buy something, to take something to make me hungry and tired. That's pretty much my standard state. So, you know, I don't know a massive amount when it comes to the edibles and things, or about any of that stuff, full stop, you know. So it could be that maybe, but I just was watching it, and the biggest thing that stood out to me was just, my God, woman, those eyes are terrifying. So again, yeah, or it could be the edibles, it could just be the demon getting closer to the surface, because it knows that if she carries on eating 38 meatballs, it's time soon to become free, to be released from the corpse that it's been flipping navigating around Canada for however long. It's about to be free, so it's coming closer to the surface potentially.
Not even one sigil. Can my name be so far from reach? I bear no harm. I suffer no bondage but this rotten, weak, pathetic corpse. Look at me! Look at this pitiful flesh I am serving to. But this body is no longer mine. I have my prize.
Or that could just be me being a grim so-and-so. So one I will dive into is Piggy's cut down of this beavertail. Now, I'm fascinated by these beavertails because they look both terrifying and delicious to me. Like, tell me, Canadian type people, this, when I look at that beavertail thing, right, it looks to me that it is big, so big that it's maybe a two-person thing. Am I right in thinking that, or you typically meant to have one per person? Because we'll get into it now and I'll talk more about it, but just when I've seen little bits of pictures of it, it's like, wow, that's really quite big for one person. But let's get into it. So thank you very much, Piggy. I very much appreciate you. Hi.
Hi. If I was mean, I could be like, too bad, buddy, you're in public, but I'm not like that, I guess. Exactly.
See, look at that.
Yo.
Oh my God.
I should ask for a box, but I'll eat it now.
Like, this beast has got big hands, and it's at least 3 of her hands.
Peanut butter, chocolate, and M&M, right, Reese's.
Oh my God. Peanut butter, chocolate, and M&Ms. Like, I'm not trying to be dramatic, because I like my food. I like my fucking food, you know what I mean? And I can pack it away when I'm kind of feeling the mood. But that just makes me, I would feel so sick. I would not be able to finish that, full stop. And if I tried to, I would probably end up being sick afterwards, just because of the richness, because you've obviously got the dough, and then I'm assuming that's Nutella, which is a lot anyway. You know, I love Nutella, but I can only eat it like just as like a little bit to something. I couldn't eat it like thick on something, you know. And peanut butter, which again is so heavy. Peanut butter is so rich and it's so heavy, and then to throw M&Ms on top of that as well, all on that dough, I would honest to God be sick. And like I said, I'm not, you know, I'm not a wimp when it comes to my food. I can pack it away and I love food. So, but just, oh. Does she eat the whole thing in this sitting? Touching her hijab with the fingers that she's used to touch her stinky treat, and that's just dropped on the floor. Don't rush to pick it up, love, just litter. Oh my God. Are you just littering, or have you got it all over you? Just picking it up off her jacket like a flipping...
Shoot.
What's she trying to shoo? Just the stuff off her jacket. Look at that. Imagine you're walking past this woman and you see this nearly £500 woman sitting on a mobility scooter that is, the chair is pretty much wedged between her arse cheeks, just pulled up on the side with cinnamon sugar everywhere.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah, I imagine it is, but Jesus Christ.
You're gonna start giving me money.
Could you even just close your mouth? That would be something.
It's warm. Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You know that's on the side of your mouth as well.
Here, bite.
This is just feedy stuff.
Oh, you're on Twitch? You're on Twitch?
On Kick.
On Kick?
Yeah.
And she's talking to that person with... She's talking to that person with chocolate all down her mouth.
Can you guys see me?
Right now? School, but she is doing lunch.
She's still not wiped it, so either she's not aware of it or she doesn't care. Either way, it's concerning, because I don't know about you guys, but if I'm eating in a public place, I was generally taught to be polite. So you don't eat like, I don't know, like something out of Lord of the Rings, you know, something that would have crawled its way out of Mordor. You don't eat like that in public. You know, yeah, there's some food that's going to be messy when you eat it, and you might get crumbs down you, or you might just need to pop your hand over your mouth for a second, or just kind of put your finger up and just kind of push a bit of, if something goes on the side of your mouth, you know, natural things that happen when you're eating something that's a little bit messier. It's, nobody's expecting everybody to be like super duper perfect all the time. It's just, no, we're human, right? But when you're at this level where you are just sitting there, and she wonders why she gets judged again, is that you're already going to be judged for how you're presenting yourself, and then you're sitting there troughing this with chocolate all over your face and cinnamon sugar or whatever all over the rest of you. Yes, you're going to be judged for that, and rightly fucking so. But like, I wonder, I'm like, was she just not taught manners? Because we've seen how she holds forks and things like that, like she's trying to stab somebody, rather than holding a fork in a just your normal kind of way. I know that I think Americans and British people tend to hold forks differently, but we still hold them in ways that are polite, but just slightly differently. If I remember rightly, I saw that somewhere. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, anyway, that's not the point. But she literally holds it just like fist around it, like she's going to stab it into a slab of meat and chuck it into her mouth. So it just makes you wonder, like, did her parents even try? Did her mum and her auntie even try to instill any sort of manners in this one? Or did they just not care? Did they just not care and then just allow her to just do whatever? Or do maybe their parents or something like that and not cows. So it's like a generational thing where they eat like wildebeests. And so therefore she eats like a wildebeest, and none of them in the family are looking at each other or thinking that there's anything wrong. Do you see what I mean? These are the questions that just rattle around this blooming head of mine sometimes. Because this, to me, what we're seeing here is absolutely fucking unthinkable. I cannot imagine sitting in public eating like this. It hurts my soul to think about doing it. And again, I repeat, it's not about like eating and having a little bit of mess. We all do it. There's a place called Greg's here, right? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Greg's if you're from outside of the UK. And they do kind of like really nice, like like they do decently priced coffee. They do like pastries and stuff like that. They do like pasties, like sausage rolls and stuff like that. Really, really nice stuff. And it tends, if you get a sausage roll or a pasty, it's like flaky pastry. And sometimes when you're eating that, it can kind of get on you, or if you're eating a croissant or something like that, a croissant, it can be like that. And you just tidy yourself up. You eat it as tidily as you can, and then you make sure you brush yourself off and blah, blah, blah. There we are. But having chocolate drizzling down your face and just looking up to random people when they come to say something to you, and that being okay, like, fuck, you know. Jesus. Both hands, like, just in case any of it escaped. Still chocolate all around your chops. And still making sure that you open your mouth, isn't it? Nom, nom, nom. Oh, put that in.
Napkin. Oh my god.
It's just disgusting. Look at her go. I mean, look. And the thing being, like, with that, again, typically I think most people, you take a bite of something and, you take a bite of something and then you chew it and then maybe take another bite. But, like, the amount of bites that she's taken there, she's like, bite, 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 bite. And she just keeps on going with it. It's like she has to get as much in as possible. There's no... And it makes me laugh that she kind of, like, part of her name is Foodie, because obviously, the typical kind of what you would associate with a foodie is somebody that is really into food, so therefore really appreciates different types of food from different types of cultures, flavours, things like that, and that they kind of have an appreciation for that, and so they, to a point, take their time to enjoy the flavour, to enjoy the process, and even just enjoying the feeling and the ambience of restaurants and going out to different places and the whole process of, like, sitting down to a really good meal. Like in the same way that, is it like, you have those Chinese, I think it's Chinese tea ceremonies, where it's a whole process, and it's not just about drinking the tea, it's about the whole process that goes into it, and it's a very, I think it's quite a spiritual thing for them, the way they do it. It's very important, and I think it's beautiful when you watch people do it. But with this one, it's just literally like jump, 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 like with the meatballs. She wasn't kind of, just taking a bite of the meatball, chewing, enjoying it, talking, and then taking another bite. It was like, chuck it in my mouth, swallow it, chuck it in my mouth. It's like, literally, it's about getting it in as fast as possible. It's just it's weird. Look at this. Look.
I feel like the kid from...
Jesus, from Matilda, yeah. From Matilda, that's what you're going to say, isn't it? Because that's immediately what I'm thinking of. Oh my god. You're going to need to... At least she's covering her mouth at this point, so I'm assuming there's some people coming up. And she's just not pausing to try and find a way to wipe it. The priority here is to continue to chuck it into your mouth. It's not funny, Chantal. It's fucking disgusting. Wipe your fucking mouth. Your fingers have fupas, and this is hilarious to you. It's disgusting. You are absolutely disgusting. I'm thinking this has got to be some feeder content. The way she's slapping her flipping chops as well. It's not. What is so funny about this? And you again, just look at them. It just makes me okay. Hang on a second. Screenshot. But I've said this numerous times, and I know that other people will say it numerous times as well. During Ramadan, look at this. And she's wondering why the Muslim community aren't judging you just because you maybe forgot to do a couple of prayers or, you know, something like that. This is what other people, not just Muslims, I mean, I'm like people in general are judging you for. Anybody with any sort of decorum is judging you for. But especially considering the fact that this, you know, about the fact that it's Ramadan, and also the fact that you've brought up that you have an issue with being judged by Muslims about kind of how you present yourself and present, you know, you as a representation of them and their faith. Look at this. It is, oh, jeez. Wipe your fucking face, you stinking so-and-so. Oh, she's sucking her fingers as well. And we know that if this is kind of Foodie related, the fact that you're doing this, right, in your hijab, that's another, I do believe, look at the way she's eating. She's making a point to have it all over her face. She's making a point to slap her cheek, like, to make all those noises and everything like that. She's deliberately left this stuff on her face and is making a show of it. So I really honestly do think this is something Foodie or Foodie related, you know what I mean? And that is a whole different level of disgusting. Because if it is, which I believe it is, obviously it's not proven, but I believe it is, the fact that you are doing this in public during Ramadan in a hijab, it's a different level of depraved and just disgusting. You know, absolutely disgusting. Like, and I did a short on my channel, and it was Chase, I can't remember his surname, from the behavior panel. Really, really great. If you guys haven't seen their channel, the behavior panel, they are amazing. They're a whole different section of body language experts, but they're kind of like people that have done like interrogations and stuff. So they come from military, they come from just kind of like public speaking. They just, all of them come from different areas. And they review videos about like different serial killers and things like that, or different things that have been going on, and they kind of all give their breakdowns and their opinions on it. And it's really, really interesting. You learn a lot. But he was talking to somebody about the masks that we wear and how people will, to ask yourself the question basically about what does this person want me to notice about them? What is it that they're putting forward the most to me? So it's like, what is it that they want me to believe about them the most when I meet them? Because then that gives you an idea of what the mask is that they want me to see or buy into. And I did look a little bit about her kind of obviously with a disability scooter. So about her scooter. So she wants kind of people to think that she has a disability. She wears obviously her hijab because she wants people to think that she's this pious, moral Muslim woman, etc. Or that she's kind of exotic, that she kind of likes that idea as well. And kind of all these different things that she wears, that she puts up, you know, like about the whole fat shaming and the victimhood and all this kind of stuff, to try to cover up for the fact that she is none of these things. She's not moral in any way. She's not kind, and she's not the tee-hee, you know, kind of thing that she puts forward, she purports, I think is the word, to people to be. And it's so true. And the fact that she tries to play herself off as being disabled to get advantages and stuff. So she plays herself as somebody that she perceives as people will view as having a disadvantage, and therefore uses that to get an advantage. Do you see what I mean? So that's how I think her mind kind of sees it and processes it, and it all is a giant mask to hide all of this awful black tar-like energy and bullshit that rattles around behind it, and it's to try and keep you distracted from just how fucking depraved and degenerate this woman is. And this is why that stuff with Salah and those messages and stuff like that didn't faze her. That's why the stuff with the only thing that fazed her about the stuff with Salah was her ego being bruised. And this is why she wasn't fazed with the kind of stuff with Nada, as like we were all looking at stuff with Nada and thinking, oh my god, how can you not run for the hills with all this stuff that's going on? Same with Salah. How can you read those text messages and not run for the hills and think and be absolutely disgusted to your core about it? But she was fine with it. And the reason why is because behind the mask, she is just as much of a degenerate as both Nada and Salah. Just as much as a disgusting, degenerate, predatory person. And so therefore, it doesn't faze her like it does the rest of us. The rest of us look at that stuff and immediately you get a visceral reaction of like, oh my fucking God. And the only reason that people struggle for a second with Chantal is because they look at the mask that she puts on and they assume that she has similar values because of how she puts herself across to them. You know, if she's playing herself off as, oh, I'm just a fat girl with an eating disorder. I'm just a fat girl with some issues. You know, I'm just trying to get my health in order. You know, that's all I am. He. I'm just really bubbly. And, you know, when she's putting across that and then stuff like that with Salah happens, then people kind of are thinking that she's somewhere along the same lines as they are. So they're like, how could you possibly be okay with that? But what they don't realise, again, until you see further down the line or you open your eyes to it, that is the mask. And behind the mask, the reason, like I said, she can cope with that, I know I'm repeating myself a bit, she can cope with that, is that she is just as dark and disgusting and as much of a degenerate as both of those men were. So she had no problem. She is swimming with her own ilk. She is swimming with her own ilk, and it is no problem whatsoever. And the only time it becomes a problem is when her ego gets bruised or she doesn't get what she wants from these guys. That's the only time. Didn't care that Nada was holding up her knickers on stream. Showed up. No, didn't care about that. No. But if he wouldn't answer her calls, ooh, we would hear about it on live stream. Same with Salah. Didn't care about all the awful R-word stuff that he was talking about. Oh, that didn't faze her. That made their marriage stronger. But if he doesn't bring her back KFG in Syria, oh, she's going to threaten to trash your house and go online and tell everybody that your family's going to murder her. Yeah. So never forget it when you look at this one.
Is it gone?
You can see yourself on the camera. This is just Foodie's shit.
The best thing in the world.
I really hope whoever paid you for this paid you good money, Chantal. Because there are people out there that to be prepared to degrade themselves like this on a public platform, the amount of money you'd have to pay most people would be serious. But I bet you anything for you, it was, what was it, like $50 or something like that? $50, if that? For you
I think someone's filming me from the car.
That's right, adjust the chin spanks to account for the new blooming £10 or whatever that's been added on through that. Are you going to wipe your chin with your hijab now, is it? Or you know it's still there.
You're just on my face.
You know it's there. Again, she absolutely knew it was there. I think this is the whole part of the Foodie or whatever thing, because there's no way, even with her like weird diabetic affected eyes, she could still see it's a massive shit smear across your blooming chins. You can see that, girl, you know. But again, it really is to do with this pervy stuff. So I hope it was worth it, Chantal. I really, really hope it was, because you've just left so many people, and including the degenerate that you like to tell everyone is your husband, I'm sure that he's going to be pretty disgusted by that too. Because as much as he is a degenerate, he's a different type of degenerate. I can't even say that word properly today. Degenerate. That's what I wanted to say. He's the kind of guy that he's really into having power over people. He likes to feel powerful. He likes to feel better than other people. He likes the idea of dominating women. But the women that he likes to dominate are the pretty women, the pretty skinny women because he sees that the pretty skinny women or whatever in society have a certain value, and therefore that value goes intrinsically from them to him, because if he owns or dominates one of these pretty skinny women or whatever, that increases his value, and all that shit that society tells us we need to care about. But so watching you do that, he's not going to look at that and be like, oh, she's so cute and funny and like this. He is going to be absolutely disgusted to his core at you. Absolutely disgusted to his core. And if he doesn't say anything, it's just because he wants a bit of cash. So I hope that you've got a little bit put aside, because I'm thinking that he's going to want something from you for that. I really do. I think he's going to probably come online, have a bit of an issue, and she's going to have to try and buy him off. So I really hope you've put some cash aside. You're going to have to sacrifice some of your takeout money to buy off your little bitch of a man. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that. Anyway, I'm rambling. So again, sorry this is a bit of a weird format, but these last few streams that she's been doing, it's just, yeah, I've just had to cobble this together the best way I can. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and fingers crossed the next one will be more just, she puts up a video that we can kind of watch, react, and have a bit of a giggle to. Not so much awful stuff as these last few have been. And I hope you all have